Mr. Chairman, honorable members, it is true that on the 4th of June, the federal government suspended indefinitely the operation of Twitter in Nigeria. And the reason we gave was that this suspension is because Twitter had made its platform the platform of choice for people promoting activities to destabilize Nigeria. That despite persistent calls on Twitter, they refused and made their platform available for separatist groups and people calling for the dismemberment of Nigeria. We also note in the same press release, we also said henceforth, all OTT, that's over the top, and other social media platforms, must register first as Nigerian companies and be licensed by the Broadcasting Commission before they can carry on any business as social media platforms. This was informed by the fact that we realized that in many of the OTT social media platforms operating in Nigeria today are not registered in Nigeria. They make billions of naira out of our country. They pay no taxes. They employ nobody. So that is why we decided that we are going to suspend one Twitter, and at the same time that all other social media platforms that are not registered in Nigeria must register. I know it's true, sir, that many Nigerians have accused the federal government of an attempt to stifle the media and free speech, and we say not at all. There is absolutely no intention on the part of government to stifle free speech or the media, because as you will see, while it is true that Section 39, of the Constitution, Sections 37, 38, 39, 40, and 41 of this Constitution actually provides for freedom of speech, but it's actually qualified. But it's actually qualified by Section 45 of the same Constitution, which is to the effect that nothing in Sections 37, 38, 39, 40, and 41 of the Constitution shall invalidate any law that is reasonably justifiable in a democratic society, A, in the interest of defense, public safety, public order, public morality, public health, or the purpose of protecting the rights and freedom of other people. And honorable members, like I said, the only reason why we suspended the operation of Twitter is because it was promoting disunity in Nigeria and it became a national security risk. Honorable members, as you can see, the above provisions of Section 45 of the Constitution leaves no one in doubt that the provisions of Section 39 of the Constitution on freedom of expression is not absolute. The right to free expression within the contemplation of Section 39 makes it a qualified right in light of the aforementioned Section 45, which permits restrictions of civil liberties in the public interest. And of further, honorable members, if you look at the circumstances of Section 3 of the National Security Act, which clothes the state security services with the powers to preserve the internal security of Nigerians, is very instructive that anybody, any platform that threatens the internal security of Nigeria would not be allowed to operate. Yeah, honorable members, for clarity, I'll just go straight to Section 3 of the National Security Act, which says that the State Security Service shall be charged with responsibility for A, the prevention and detection within Nigeria of any crime against the internal security of Nigeria, B, the protection and preservation of all non-military classified matters concerning the internal security of Nigeria, and C, such other responsibilities affecting internal security within Nigeria as the National Assembly or the President, as the case may be, may deem necessary. And this is a case where the federal government deems it necessary that the activities of Twitter in Nigeria in particular is inimical to the growth, to stability of the country. Honourable members, may I just remind you that during the unfortunate NSAS protest, the same Twitter played a very unsavory role by making available its platform to retweet, not just retweet the messages of the NSAS protesters, but raising funds for the NSAS protesters before it was hijacked by hoodlums. And Nigerians have forgotten that this particular NSAS, a protest led to the death of 57 civilians, 37 policemen, 6 soldiers. We had about 243 public properties destroyed, 200 brand new buses belonging to Lagos State government for the people of Lagos State were razed to the ground, 83 warehouses were vandalized, and yet Jack Dorsey crowdfunded the activities of NSAS. That's why we believe that Twitter's mission in Nigeria is suspect. Now, honorable members, the right to freedom of expression on the Twitter platform is further qualified by Section 45 of the Constitution in light of the provisions of Section 5, 1, and 2 of the Terrorism Act of 2011, which states that any person who knowingly, in any manner, directly or indirectly, solicits or renders support, A, for the commission of an act of terrorism, or B, to a terrorist group, commits an offense under this act. And honorable members, we all know that IPOP is proscribed by the High Court law in Nigeria, and yet it is the platform of choice through which IPOP directs its people to kill soldiers, to kill policemen, to burn correctional centers. And this is why we believe that Twitter's operation in Nigeria is inimical to our growth. So both in law, common law, and national security, we had to suspend the operations. Mr. Chairman, I will round up by saying that even the position of the Companies Allied Matters Act is also supports our suspension of Twitter operation in Nigeria. Because the primary law governing the businesses in Nigeria is the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. As it regards, and that regard, they say that as it regards the operation of a foreign company in Nigeria, the law provides that a foreign company which fails to take necessary steps to obtain incorporation as a separate entity in Nigeria for that purpose, but until so incorporated, the foreign company shall not carry on business in Nigeria or exercise any powers of a registered company. That's a Section 78(1) of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Hence, flowing from the above, a foreign company like Twitter cannot be clothed with the legitimate rights to operate as a company registered in Nigeria, as they are not licensed, to so do. And honorable members, we talk about personal liberty. It's strike law, honorable members, that personal liberty can be suspended when the rights of the majority is at stake. And here we're talking about the rights, the security, and safety of the whole of Nigeria. And this is why we suspend Twitter. So both in law, in practice, in common sense, I believe that we are within the law to suspend, Twitter. And our position, honorable members, is also backed by the Cyber Space Act. And I would draw the attention of the honorable members to Articles 24, 25, and 26 of African Union on Cyber Security and Personal Data Protection. Article 19, 2, and 3 of the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, and Sections 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the Cyber Crimes Prohibition Act. This empowers the federal government of Nigeria to regulate and promote the security of the Nigerian cyberspace, including but not limited to the cyber environment and organization and users' assets. Organization and users' assets include connected computing devices, personnel, infrastructure, applications, services, telecommunication systems, and the totality of transmitted and or stored information within the Nigerian cyberspace environment, including social media such as Twitter, Facebook, etc., applications, internet platforms, and cloud computing platforms. Furthermore, honorable members, the federal government of Nigeria is empowered to take all necessary measures, give all necessary orders, designating any computer system, network, or application as forming part of our national infrastructure, and take all necessary steps, including suspension of Twitter or any other social media, to protect Nigeria's critical infrastructure from a cyber threat or attack. Following from the above, honorable members, the federal government of Nigeria is also empowered to take all reasonable steps to defend its cyberspace where it perceives or finds that a cyber crime is threatened to be committed, has been committed, or is being committed, and through its cyberspace. For instance, where a seditious act has been committed against the federal government through the cyberspace, see Section 512 of the Criminal Code, which punishes the crime of sedition. In circumstances, the decision of the federal government I want to submit to suspend the activities of Twitter for being a national security threat is well-founded in law, in light of the fact that the platform affords IPOB, an organization already proscribed by the Federal High Court, to champion its seditious and terrorist-based activities. These are my submission, honorable members. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, my question is very straightforward. You did mention in the presentation that a proscribed organization like the IPOB was using Twitter to send their messages out, and that was inimical to our security in this country. And if I can recall, that court order was given some months or years back, and Twitter was still on. Why is it that it was because they pulled down the comment of Mr. President that you now came up with this armor? Thank you.
We did not ban Twitter. We simply suspended indefinitely the activities of Twitter. The second, sir, is that we did not suspend the activities of Twitter because they deleted Mr. President's tweet. Not at all. We are very unambiguous on why we suspended Twitter. I will now go to answer the questions, and then, of course, I would the one that bothers Mr. Chairman on the duration. I will also answer that, inshallah. Yes, the first question is, what have we taken into consideration Nigerians doing business on Twitter? And the answer is yes. It's because there's a country called Nigeria that people can do business on any platform. And this is very, very fundamental. Two, there are other platforms, Facebook, Google Hangout, WhatsApp, for people to to use. But in a matter of national security, individual interests will lag behind. We've been asked, was it banned?
What is the federal government doing?
Yes, what is the federal government doing? Well, incidentally, like I said, the Twitter, the suspension is indefinite, it's not banned, and we said the doors are not closed. We are willing to speak to Twitter. Twitter has written a letter seeking for government dialogue, and just today I did issue a statement in which I announced the government team that is ready to meet Twitter, chaired by my humble self with the Minister of Justice, Minister of Communication, Minister of Works and Housing, the Minister of Labor, State Labor, and I think, yes, and some, agencies of government. When I leave here, I intend to see if we can have a preliminary meeting of that committee. So we hope that the committee will be able to move fast, and that the committee will have good dialogue and understanding with the Twitter. But like we said, there are two basic things that Twitter or any OTT or social media needs to do. They must first be registered as a Nigerian company, after which they will apply for a license. Other conditions will come up as we go along. Thank you. I'm asked, I've answered that question that we did not suspend Twitter because of Mr. President's, because they deleted Mr. President's tweet. And
Before the IPOB is using the platform.
yes, that's that. Why did I wait for Mr. President's tweet to be deleted before the suspension? Even though I knew all along that IPOB had been using Twitter as a platform. I think our efforts to rid Nigeria of fake news, disinformation, started in 2017. And I'm happy that my chairman is here. When we organized a National Council on Information in Jos Plateau State to address the issue of fake news and disinformation. And there we said that the next war will be caused by fake news. How prophetic we were. In 2018, we started an advocacy program whereby we went from media house to the other, seeking their support in rooting out fake news. Some supported us, some did not. When we were convinced that they were not going to listen, so that we were going to regulate the social media, we wrote to NUJ, we wrote to Guild of Editors, they stopped us. Now, as for Twitter, there are two issues about Twitter. Number one, Twitter is not even registered in Nigeria. So who do we talk to? But despite that, I know that on record that the social media department of the government actually severally asked Twitter to bring down a lot of tweets, which they refused. They said they was not offend their rules. And you see, one thing must be clear. Who is Twitter? Are they a platform, content creator, or are they the judge? We're talking about a sovereign country, and that will not be ruled by the laws of a multinational, no matter how powerful it is. So, for us, why did we act now? There's no time we would have taken a decision that will not have the kind of reaction we're having now. No time. But it has got to a stage after persistent, appeal to Twitter, and we saw how policemen were being killed, how soldiers were being targeted, how Christians and they were using Twitter. That's so it says that we say enough is enough. And honestly, like I say, we owe no responsibility to Twitter. It's not registered in Nigeria. Does not employ in Nigeria. It does not pay taxes in Nigeria. If Nigerians do make money through Twitter, unfortunately, Nigeria has to be a country first before they can make that money. And like I said, there are other platforms available to them. But hopefully, if we're able to resolve this matter quickly, they will resume the use of Twitter. There's the question about what is NBC doing, what is NBC and NCC doing to checkmate the platforms
As regulators.
as regulators. I know that both NCC and NBC monitor on a daily basis, not just these platforms, but the entire broadcast, environment. But the thing about social media is that it caught the entire world by storm. As we speak today, UK, EU are all struggling to come by with laws to regulate social media. Australia, Singapore, same. Now, it's because the thing about social media is that when they came, they were neither communication nor information. So they were operating under the radar. And it's only recently that governments all over the world started realizing that, wait a minute, these people are doing business, they're not licensed, neither here or anywhere in the world. And they say, no, this must stop. And you are causing a lot of trouble is too small a word. Look, it was said that Hillary Clinton lost the last election because of social media. It was fake news. The first fake news was that she was suffering from very bad health. Second was that she had ties with the terrorists. And I think the third fake news was that the Pope did not support her, or that the Pope supported Trump. And these were all fake news. So the issue of fake news is not today, and the struggle to regulate social media is not today. We'll continue, both NBC and both NCC. And that is what the first thing we said today is that all online medias, come and register. Let's even know who you are. Then we say these are the rules, these are the do's, these are the don'ts. But like I said, it's not peculiar to Nigeria. Even UK now is trying to regulate its social media. EU is trying to regulate social media. France recently fined Google $267 million for anti-monopoly, antitrust. So it's not unique to Nigeria, but we'll continue to do our best. Why ban Twitter outright without giving them time to put right whatever is wrong? We don't even know them. They're not even registered with us. They are known to us in law. And like I said, honestly, it's suspension, not ban. But again, like I said, we have several times asked them to remove certain tweets that we found offensive, that we found was not in the interest of Nigeria. Did we have to wait for Mr. President's tweet to be put down before acting on the issue of social media? I said it again. That's not. Listen. Then what is the duration of the ban? I've answered it also. That we hope that from today we're able to engage them. Do you take note? Do you take into cognizance that the impression created that the ban was because of the fact that Twitter took down the president's tweet? I've answered that again. Thank you, sir. If executive seems Twitter as security threat, any dialogue with them? Yes, we've tried to dialogue with them but they rebuffed us. Foreign investors' reaction.
What do they feel?
Honestly, like I said, about foreign investor, every country in the world is facing what we are facing in terms of fake news, in terms of even the U.S. There are 4 bills before U.S. Congress today, trying to say what do we do with the social media. So it's not just alone. And as for investment, Twitter is a very bad example. They have not invested 1 penny in Nigeria. Rather they went to Ghana, and yet the target market is Nigeria. Say Twitter is not the only social media platform. Why ban Twitter?
The question is not clear.
Yes, I think yes. But honestly, we suspended Twitter because Twitter became a platform of choice for those that want to bring down this country. If any other platform does it, we would suspend the operations too. Because it is because there's a country called Nigeria that they can have business. Any way to set up in Nigerian
alternative to Twitter. What are we doing to
Thank you very much. Honestly, I think it's a good opportunity for our very resourceful Nigerians to also look at how they can, have an app that can replace Twitter, and it will be patronized by all of us. We've received a few approaches. I want to encourage them. There's this question: licensing.
What about? Okay, what are you doing to ensure local content if you eventually bring them back?
Yes, how are we going to ensure local content if we bring back? I think, like we said, we have these 2 very important, non-negotiable conditions. First, register with CAC. 2, you'll be licensed. The issue of, local content whatsoever, we look into if appropriate. But already, you can see that from our broadcasting code, we are very heavy on local content already.
Why have regulators overlooked the infractions of the social media over time? NBC, NCC, they just allow them to do that.
Yeah, like we said, why has NBC, NCC overlooked the? It's because they were never registered. And like I said, this infraction is not unique to Nigeria. It's everywhere in the world. When I read, in Nigeria in particular, about 2 weeks ago, found out that there are about 476 online publications devoted to just bringing down this government. 476 of them. So social media is a menace everywhere in the world, and they are faster than the world, because every day new applications are coming. We just have to struggle to catch up with them, and we believe that the best way to start is by regulating them, is by ensuring that they register with us as Nigerian companies first, and then they take license, and there will be do's and don'ts. And if you do what you are not supposed to do, we fine you. People are using.
They're using VPN to bypass the restriction.
To bypass restriction.
What is the federal government doing about that?
Well, my advice to anybody using VPN is to stop it, because when you use VPN, it exposes your entire data, including your bank accounts. No, I'm serious. So please, if you're using VPN and you think you are hurting like Mohammed, you are hurting yourself.
There is one. Okay, that's all. Generally, if there's another one,
well, I think I've tried to address the issues raised.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.